Sir, on the iPhone, what is your name, please? With the mustache, can you hear me?
Ryan Phillips.
Well, not you. There's a guy on an iPhone. Does anyone recognize him? Apparently, he doesn't hear me. Apparently not. I'm going to put him back. We have, sir, on the iPhone, what is your name?
Brandon Rubloff.
Okay. I'm going to put you back in the waiting room. And we'll bring you back in when your case is called, okay?
Okay.
Okay, looks like I have all attorneys here. Shannon, put us on the record. First up is the matter of Love Neal. And I want to, let's see, I need to bring in Ms. Pascarella. And I'm going to need to check a couple of these phone numbers to see who these folks are, to see if we have a parent participating. All right, let's try this number first. I just let somebody in with a telephone prefix of 270. What is your name? Telephone number ending in 9094. What is your name?
Oh, this is Karen Muir, Talen's guardian at the moment. Karen Muir.
All right, I'm just going to put a name with this so I know who you are, and I'm going to put you back in the waiting room.
Okay.
Okay, and let's see. I've got a 906 number. I'm sure that's not a parent. And let's see, a couple other 5059S. Let me see who that is. Okay, sir, with the hat on and you're outdoors, can you tell me your name? Your microphone is muted. Okay. I'm sorry. Say your name again.
Clay Russell.
All right. I'm just going to put a name with the phone number so I know who you are, and I'm going to put you back in the waiting room. Thank you. And let's see. I have telephone number ending in 5976. What is your name, please? Hello, telephone number ending in 5976. What is your name?
Taylor Daughtery.
Hi, Taylor.
Hi.
I'm gonna write your name on this screen so I know who you are, and put you back in the waiting room. We'll bring you back in when your case gets called. And let's see. Well, the one that was trying to make a, well, here we go. K51. Can you hear me? Well, that one's still making a connection. As long as I'm figuring out who everyone is, I'm going to let the 906 number in. Telephone beginning at 906. What is your name?
Heidi Nesberg, caseworker for Sioux Tribe.
And I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit. Say your name again.
Heidi Nesberg, caseworker for the Sioux Tribe.
All right, Ms. Nesberg, I'm going to put you back in the waiting room. I just wanted to put a name on your window so that I know who you are. We'll call you back in as soon as your case gets called. All right, and then we have K51. What is your name? Someone with a device identified as K51. What is your name?
Keegan Lovett.
Okay, Mr. Lovett, I'm going to name this window and put you back in the waiting room until we call your case, okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Looks like we have neither parent signed in, which isn't a surprise, on the Love Neal matter. Can each of you on this file please identify yourselves for the record? Oh, we lost the worker. Huh. Hold on a minute. I don't know what happened there. Let me get her back in. Okay, so we are now, I think all of us here who has logged in on the matter of Love Neal. Can I have each of you identify yourselves for the record?
I'm Allison Pascarella. I'm with DHS, CPS supervisor covering the case today.
Oh, we lost Matt too. I just noticed that. We are having all sorts of trouble today. Let me find him. There he is. All right, Mr. Way is here now on behalf of the petitioner. I know what happened, Matt. We lost you.
I'm here now.
Nothing personal.
Ken Hotchkiss on behalf of Lynette Crabtree, mother.
Rebecca McCleskey, guardian ad litem.
Okay, we had an initial in-chambers conference on this file this morning, and we discovered that our clerk's office made a mistake in docketing this file. And it looks like someone must have just been confused down there. Looking back at the file, someone whited out the file number, which apparently was the correct file number for Lynette Crabtree, and substituted the file number for Leanne Crabtree. And gratefully, one of our observant attorneys noticed that this morning, so we need to fix that. I don't believe it's in any sense a fatal flaw, but it's going to have to get corrected at the clerk's office. I'm going to, well, Mr. Way, are you moving that I amend the case caption to reflect the correct file number?
Yes, Your Honor, I am. And that file number is 05-2738-NA.
All right.
Your Honor, and just for the record, mom is Lynette Crabtree, right?
That's right.
Okay.
So we've had the right parties, the right allegations in the petition that pertain to these parties, but we need to make sure all of this paperwork gets into the correct file. I will issue an order to that effect, and we will, and I'll inform the clerk's office so they can make that correction and get us to the right file. I don't believe, I mean, the right parties have been notified, the right parties have been served and identified, the right allegations are in the petition. I don't see any kind of prejudice here. It's simply fixing a clerical error. We are scheduled to proceed on the 17th for adjudication and also disposition for mom because of her prior terminations. And we don't have a history on Mr. Miller, although it looks like we'll probably end up at termination before too long because he's not stepping up and establishing any interest in this child. But in any event, is anything else the court needs to address in this matter today?
Your Honor, I just want to make sure that Mr. Hotchkiss has, I think I sent discovery to everyone. Did you receive that, Mr. Hotchkiss?
I did, Matt. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Nothing further from me, Your Honor.
Okay, very well. We'll see you back around the 17th and we'll get all of the mistakes fixed in terms of the clerical errors before next Tuesday.
Can we just reiterate for the record that that was not my mistake, Your Honor?
For the record, it was not my clerk who made this mistake. It was the clerk's office downstairs that apparently made the mistake.
Thank you, Judge.
You're
Shannon
welcome.
doesn't make errors.
Just from time to time. And then there's a probate file on our docket too.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Oh, you're not doing that?
No,
Oh, okay.
I don't even have the file.
I thought it was something that I didn't know about.
I don't know anything about, well, Talon. Well, let me ask. So, Mr. Phillips, I see Talon Dottery's on my my list this morning. That's a probate matter, is it not? Oh, we lost him. Hold on. He was here earlier, even stated his appearance.
Because I had Peter run down and see if the file was in our box.
Well, Talon's here.
Yeah, I know, that's,
Mr. Phillips is not present. It looks like he logged off and has not logged back in. So let me just let Talon know, so she's not waiting forever. Good morning, Talon. This is Judge LaFlamme. I'm not quite sure how your case ended up on my docket today. I don't normally do probate matters today. Usually I handle those on Wednesday mornings. And Mr. Phillips, who was the attorney involved in your case, was present earlier today, but it looks like he's logged out. I didn't want you to leave you hanging out there forever, but I don't even have the file, so I'm not sure why this ended up on my calendar today.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do, when if you want to hang around, I'll put you back in the waiting room, and if Mr. Phillips does show up, or if someone from the probate office explains to me where the file is and how it ended up on my docket today. Well, we do have the file. Let me take a close look at it.
thanks, Peter.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, Mr. Phillips filed this motion, but he's disappeared. I'll put you back in the waiting room. And if I get some communication from him as to what exactly is going on, I will get right back to you and let you know so you're not sitting out there all day, okay?
Okay.
All right. I'm just gonna keep this here for now.
Sure.
Okay, next up is the matter of David Russell and Rain Rushford. And I know Mr. Russell is present. Let me get him in. And let's see, our worker is Ms. Cooling. Let me get her in. All right, looks like we've got a connection with everyone. This is the matter of David Russell and Rain Rushford. Can I have everyone on this file identify yourself for the record, please?
Way Prosecutor's Office.
DHHS.
Ken Hotchkiss, attorney for Farrell Webb, Mom.
Mike Kelly, attorney for Mr. Russell.
Becca McCluskey, guardian ad litem.
Before I go any further, I see that I've got a couple more phone numbers logged in. I'm going to see who they are to make sure that we don't exclude anyone from the hearing.
Crazy like me.
Telephone number ending in 3928. What is your name, please?
Stephanie Reyes.
Okay, Ms. Reyes, we're going to put you back in the waiting room until we call your case. I just needed to know who you were.
Okay.
All right, we'll bring you back in when your case is called.
All right, thank you.
And I saw an iPad. Let me try that and see who's on the iPad.
Hello?
Okay, I just let an iPad in. I need to know your name.
It's Veronica Russo.
Okay, Ms. Russo, we're going to put you back in the waiting room until we call your case, okay?
Okay.
All right, and I don't have any other unidentified people in the waiting room. So, Ms. McCluskey, how are these children doing?
Doing fairly well. Rain is doing very well, meeting milestones and growing appropriately. David is still struggling. I spoke with placement. It's a mom's stepsister, so it's a relative. And obviously these children are placed together, but David's still struggling with a lot of behaviors. It sounds like they're getting worse now that visits are more consistent. Placement thinks he may be struggling with adjusting to school and the placement. I'm sorry, and the visits. But he is seeing a counselor who comes to the home, so they're addressing the issue. And then there was a trauma assessment completed, I believe, on October 23rd. So we're just waiting for the result for David specifically. They do suspect there was some sexual abuse. Apparently he's exhibiting some behaviors that are indicative of sexual abuse, so that's a concern. But it was the CTAC, Dr. Henry's associate who performed the trauma assessment. So they do such a good job. Hopefully they'll uncover what's going on. I reviewed the report. I have no objection to the recommendations. Thank you.
Ms. McCluskey, did you not get the letter from Dr. Henry? Dated November 3rd.
I do not have it in my file. It may be in my, I'll check my email right now and review it quickly.
It's very concerning.
Okay.
Let me see, who else is on this file?
Ken Hotchkiss, I represent Mom, and I can just indicate to the court that I've tried to reach her on the 2 numbers that I have for her. Unable to do so, and I've not heard from her, so I'd have no comment as to the report or the recommendations. Thank you.
Did you get Dr. Henry's
I did.
letter?
I did, Your Honor.
Dated November 3?
Yes, Your Honor, I have it.
And I'm sorry, who represents Mr. Russell?
I do, Your Honor.
Did you get the letter?
I did get the letter, yes.
Okay, thank you. Well, let's, I guess we need to talk about the letter. It's extremely concerning. Dr. Henry is recommending that all visits with the parents be suspended for 3 months so that they can begin to try to unwrap the problems that and behaviors that David is exhibiting. Obviously, that's a pretty strong step, but on the other hand, the court clearly has authority to suspend visits under these circumstances, but I want to give everyone a chance to weigh in. Ms. Cooling, I'm assuming that you're recommending suspended visits for the parents as to David?
That is correct. Based off the trauma assessment team's assessment, David needs security and safety right now to be able to address his severe trauma. And they believe the best way to do that is to have 3 months of suspended parenting time so that he is in a safe, stable environment consistently, so that he can start to open up and address the trauma as well as the potential concerns of sexual abuse.
Which home was David removed from?
He was removed from his mother's care, Farrah Webb.
And what kind of parenting time did Mr. Russell have with David over the course of his life? Do you know?
Prior to the removal, from what I've learned from Mr. Russell, it's been very sparse visits with David. He would really only see David when Farrah would allow. It doesn't sound like it was very consistent. He would just kind of get to see him occasionally. And that's what I've gathered from Mr. Russell. He is on the phone if you want to ask him directly.
Yeah, he's present. That's what I was trying to get at. It looks like whatever trauma that David experienced was experienced in the mother's home.
That is our assumption, yes.
So, Mr. Kelly, do you mind if I ask Mr. Russell some questions?
No, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Russell, did you see this trauma report?
I don't believe I have. This is a bit of a surprise to me. A couple of things mentioned the other day after my visit or prior to. A couple of them were pretty startling, but I was previously, I was told that they were going to recommend suspending visits for 3 months. I was told that in a couple of, one thing in particular that rather disturbed me. So yeah.
So let me ask you, the disclosures in this report are very concerning, but it would appear that whatever it is that traumatized your son occurred while he was in the mother's custody, and that's what I was trying to get at. Has he ever been in your custody?
He was in my custody at one point for about a month.
And when was that?
I'm sorry?
When was that?
It was around about end of November through about mid-December. in
Of
2018.
2019?
2018.
2018.
The end of
Okay.
2018.
And other
And
than that month or so, did he ever have regular overnight parenting time with you?
yeah, I finally, after becoming frustrated with the way parenting time was going for me, never getting to see my kid, I went to friend of the court and I set it up to where I had time with him from Saturday night through Sunday evening.
When did that start?
That began early in 2019, ended about late spring, midsummer.
All right. Anyone else have questions for Mr. Russell?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
I really don't have enough information today to be able to say, whether with definity, whether whatever it is that David's experiencing occurred in mom's or dad's home, but given that the majority of his time was spent in the mother's home, that certainly would be my suspicion. Curtailing Mr. Russell's parenting time is troubling to me, but on the other hand, I really need to listen to the expert. And in order for the expert to get to the bottom of what it is that David is experiencing, and hopefully get some disclosures from him as to where or how the kind of behaviors that he's exhibiting had their genesis. I'm inclined to heed his advice, but I'm willing to listen to argument to the contrary.
Your Honor, it sounded like the parenting time that is referenced in the report for my client, it sounded like it went pretty well. It's concerning to me that the therapist for the child, the home-based therapist for the child, hasn't reached out to at least my client to possibly involve him as well. If the court decides it needs to go forward and follow this recommendation, I would at the very least request that Mr. Russell be included as much as possible in that process, just in case if the court's suspicions are accurate that something may have happened in mom's home, and he needs to, and he would have that stability of still having his father around or having communications with his dad. It's not like we're dealing with an infant. I believe the child is 5 years old at this point, so he's aware of what's going on. So I would request of the court to consider his parenting time right now. It seems like it's minimal. If that would continue for dad, but if the court feels it needs a definitive answer and must follow the recommendations of that correspondence, that Mr. Russell be included in this process over the next 3 months as much as practical without interfering with that process. Thank you.
So, Ms. Cooling, let me ask you, that Dr. Henry's report simply says that his behaviors escalate following visits with his parents. Obviously, the visits with the parents occur at different times. Does Ms. Webb's significant other come with her to her parenting time visits?
No, Miss Webb is not allowed to bring anyone else with her to her visits. Mr. Russell and Miss Webb's visits fall on the same day. They actually are back to back. So it is hard to determine if he's having behaviors because of one parent over the other. He has exhibited behaviors during his dad's visit as well as his mother's visit. So it's hard to really tell what's triggering him at times. I have no problem keeping Mr. Russell updated regarding David's progress in treatment and in therapy, as well as the therapist reaching out to Mr. Russell to give him, updates and let him know what is going on. I've kept Mr. Russell as much in the loop as possible regarding David and his trauma, especially the recent things that have came out after the trauma assessment. I know Mr. Russell is very concerned regarding his son and the allegations that are potentially there regarding potential sexual abuse. And I've expressed to Mr. Russell that he can certainly stay in the loop and stay updated regarding David's progress. I do think based on the trauma recommendation, it is in David's best interest that he have suspended visits from both of his parents due to the fact that we can't pinpoint exactly where the trauma has occurred or not occurred. And for him to be able to really address that trauma, he needs safety. And I think coming to the agency for visits right now, I think the building in general is a trigger for him. So.
All right. Well, I'm certain that Dr. Henry and his team are on top of this and know that although we can tie the triggers to visits, we can't tie them particularly to one parent or the other. And I'm also sensitive to the fact that just coming to the building is a trigger. And I want Dr. Henry to get to the bottom of this. But I would really, really like, to the extent we can, once we figure out which parent is the trigger, restore visits with the other parent. Obviously, that needs to be done in close association with Dr. Henry and his team. So I think what I'm going to order with respect to visits is that they be suspended, but that the agency have discretion to resume visits as directed or as recommended by Dr. Henry and his team. And then 3 months from now, we'll be able to look at that and see what's going on. I sure hope they can get to the bottom of it quickly. I think we have to have David's best interests in mind right now. And I have a lot of confidence in the Trauma Assessment Center. I have to rely on what they're telling me. As difficult as that is for whichever parent it is that's innocent in this. So we haven't spoken to the other. Do you have any other updates or recommendations different from what's in your report, Ms. Cooling?
I just had a brief update for you. I did meet with Ms. Webb on the 29th of October. I asked her to complete a random drug screen at the agency while she met with me. She refused to do the drug screen. She also called our EverHealth line, and she was scheduled to screen that day, and again, still refused to complete the drug screen. Ms. Webb has consistently not completed any drug screens throughout the course of this case this far. I'm just concerned that due to the potential use of drugs by Ms. Webb and her unwillingness to complete a drug screen, that it is harmful moving forward for her to have visits with her children. Obviously, we're going to continue those and monitor them very closely. But I did just want to bring that to the court's attention that she is refusing to complete drug screens at this time.
Thank you. Mr. Hotchkiss, do you have any comments on the other recommendations?
Other than I've not had an opportunity to speak with my client regarding them, so no, I would have no comment.
And Mr. Kelly?
No objection to the recommendations or other comments than what I've already put on the record, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I will go ahead and order the recommendations and then the specific recommendation as to the, from the Trauma Assessment Center, and we'll include those in my order. I will set our next review hearing for February 2nd at 9:30 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Russell, have a good day.
Thank you.
You too. Thank you.
So Peter, would you try to get a hold of Ryan Phillips? I don't want to keep Kaylin in the waiting room if nothing's going to happen, but I'd like to let her know.
Did he just drop off the call?
Yeah, he disappeared. He may have had another hearing or something.
Yeah, I'll figure out what's going on there.
It's a very simple matter. I think I can address it this morning, but I need to have him here to do that. Okay, next up is Axel Lovett. So I've got a few people I got to let in here. Let's see. We've got Ms. Russo. Oh, Shannon, I gave you my cheat sheet. We have Kevin Lovett.
Yeah, you can.
We have Keegan Lovett. And I know we had.
Veronica Russo?
Yes. Was it Karen Muir from the tribe? Somebody recognize that name?
I believe so.
I changed the name. The 906 number I would have definitely remembered, but I got rid of it. Ms. Muir, you are on the Keegan Lovett file? I'm sorry, the Axel Lovett file?
No, the Daughtery file.
Daughtery. Oh, sorry. Yeah. We'll put you back in the waiting room. Well, what did I do? I know who will know.
I'm not sure if I have the right name down there, Your Honor. It looks like Ryan Gold is the worker. Madison Banks.
Well, Madison Banks is here. We will let her in, and she can help me with the tribe contact. I don't see Ryan DeBolt in here.
He no longer works at that agency.
Oh, okay. Ms. Banks, do you know the name of the representative of the tribe?
Her name is Heidi, and she just sent me an email. She had a meeting at 9:30, so since we are delayed this morning, she sent me an email with her recommendation, so I can read that aloud.
Okay, that's fine. I knew she had logged in earlier, and I put her in the waiting room, but I couldn't find her. That explains why I couldn't find her.
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
And then Sherry Hunt is the worker, the direct worker on this case. She's in the waiting room currently.
Okay, we'll let her in, and I think then that will be everyone. I've got someone listed as a foster parent. I'm going to find out who that is. so that they don't get excluded.
That would be Kevin Lovett.
Well, Kevin Lovett is logged in under his own name.
Yep.
Someone logged in under the name foster parent. Can you tell me what case you're the foster parent on?
I am the foster mom of Doris Lafitte.
Okay, hold on a minute. I'm going to add that and then put you back in the waiting room.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I think we have everyone. Counsel, if you could identify yourselves, please.
That way, prosecutor's office.
Ken Hotchkiss, attorney for mom, Veronica Russo.
Rebecca McCleskey for Keegan Lovett.
Ivan Brown, LGAL.
Shannon, Keegan Lovett, Veronica Russo, and Kevin Lovett are all also in the meeting room. And let's see, Ms. Hunt, what's your name, your full name?
Sherry Hunt, foster care worker for Samaritas.
All right, and then Madison Banks is also present, and I think that's everybody. So, Mr. Brown, how's Axel doing?
As usual, he's doing very well with his grandparents. I have absolutely no concern. I think they take excellent care of Axel. I did read in the report, I've had many conversations with Mr. Lovett, and that there was some discrepancy as to whether grandmother wanted to adopt. This is the first time that I've ever heard anything of that nature. He's always been adamant that they both wanted him in their care and would provide permanency. I am in support of the recommendation. I think the recommendation, it was kind of veiled, but I believe it's asking for a change in the goal. I talked with Ms. Banks yesterday, and she indicated that would be the recommendation, although it's not spelled out specifically. If it's not, I am recommending a change in goal. We talked about this at the last hearing 3 months ago, and the court, my notes indicate the court said one more report period. Nothing has changed. In fact, it maybe has gotten even worse. And I have absolutely no concerns about any CPS investigation with regard to the grandparents. Those are being generated by adversarial situation. And they have no substance, and I believe they've all been denied with no substance. So thank you.
So, Ms. Hunt, in your report, I do note that you indicate that if it's a conditional request for a goal change that says that the parents don't provide the agency with documentation of their reported services, that a goal change would occur. Did you receive any documentation subsequent to submitting your report?
As of this morning, no, we do not have any documentation.
All right, and Ms. Banks, I think you're the one that told me you received some direction from the tribe.
I did, Your Honor. Let me pull up her email so I can read it for the court.
Okay.
So Heidi Nesberg, who is the tribe representative, sent me two things. First, the tribe's recommendation at this time is to support reunification, not a goal change, with active efforts provided to each parent. because she states she believes that there has been progress, even though we as an agency have not received it at this time. And then she also stated that if there is a goal change, the tribe will need to review the termination petition to make their recommendation on the petition. She stated that typically they meet the first Wednesday of the month, but in order to have it on the agenda for them to discuss, it has to be submitted by mid-month. And for this month, that would be the 18th of November. So if we did go for a goal change in order to have the tribe's opinion in December, if that's when trial would be set, our agency would have to have it in by November 18th to the tribe. So that's a very short window. So if we do go for a goal change, I would just recommend or request an extended period of time for us to make sure that we have the tribe's input and we have enough time to thoroughly write the petition.
So I'm curious, the disconnect that the tribe believes that parents are engaging in services, but we don't have any evidence of that. Why is there a discrepancy there? Is the tribe providing some services?
I spoke to Heidi in length yesterday, and she was in communication with Miss Rousseau, who is currently up in the UP near the tribe at this time, and she is in the process of working with the tribe to begin services. So I was sending lengthy emails to Heidi about if we continue reunification efforts, what services Ms. Rousseau would need to do, and kind of talking out what the tribe's able to provide, if any, and what we would still have to supplement outside of tribal assistance. So I think because of those detailed conversations she's had with Ms. Rousseau, that is why that's the tribe's opinion at this time. And I will state as well on the record, both parents have reported significant services being completed. We're just not receiving the documentation of it at this time. I don't have releases for each parent for us to just get it ourselves. So if we do another reporting period, if we could add to the recommendations that we do get signed releases for each parent so that we can get that evidence if it's occurring.
Well, an easy path for the court to take would be simply to do a very short reporting period, maybe put it out a month, and say that documentation of participation in service absolutely must be provided before the next review hearing. We've got, you know, if the parents are engaged in services and they're working on it, I'm a whole lot more comfortable than talking about the parents just beginning services. This child has been in care for well over a year, and I would normally not consider anything other than a goal change for a parent telling me after a year of not participating in services that they're now finally ready to begin. Because it takes as much as a year often for parents to begin to demonstrate the benefits of those services. I mean, some it's much quicker, but many times it's that long. And dragging this out another year is not something that appeals to me at all, and would not be in Axel's best interest. But I am willing to give the parents an opportunity to provide proof that they are engaging in services and are making progress in those services. Then I don't mind extending another full reporting period. But I'm not going to extend a full reporting period based on what I have now, which is simply verbal confirmation. I want actual confirmation of services.
Could I comment too, Your Honor?
Of course.
Thank you. I did not see this in the report, and maybe I missed it, but I wanted to let the court, and I don't know if Mr. Brown's aware too, that there was a rather significant domestic violence incident in, I believe it was in the grandparents' home a couple months ago. The case was eventually dismissed because Ms. Rousseau didn't appear for any of the hearings. Mr. Lovett was the one who was charged. So to me, even if they are participating in services, we're not seeing much benefit at this point. I just wanted to make sure that the court was aware of that. Thank you.
I just want to make sure I get an opportunity to weigh in on my client's behalf here.
Of course. So let me hear from the parents' attorneys. Go ahead, Mr. Hotchkiss.
Thank you, Your Honor. Honor, I think it was later last week, I emailed Mr. Way because I'd not received a copy of the report. He said he wasn't sure where it was, and I think he was looking for it as well. I received a copy of it yesterday. I had mediation most of the afternoon yesterday and had spoke with Ms. Rousseau prior to getting the report. So my conversation with her wasn't based upon anything specific. It was more general in nature. So I didn't have an opportunity to discuss the things in the report and the concerns. I was a little confused when I read the recommendation because it is kind of a contingent recommendation. If we don't get documentation, then we're requesting a goal change, I guess is the way I read it. If the court's suggestion would certainly satisfy that contingency, but my client indicates to me that she's had to move to the UP for support and engage in services. She does discuss the domestic violence incident. That was one of the factors in her moving to the UP. She's also indicated that she's engaged with Pathways, which is therapy for herself. And again, the other recommendations I haven't had a chance to really discuss with her. I would ask that the court either proceed as the court previously indicated was a possibility, or if you're going to consider a goal change today, I would ask for a 1-week adjournment so she and I can go through the report and make sure that we at least have everything that she has available to her over to the agency so they can review it. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. McCluskey.
Your Honor, I would echo Mr. Hotchkiss's comments and his request. I don't believe Mr. Way had this court report, so it came in yesterday and I was only able to review it today because I was tied up as well. So the goal change is a surprise to all of us. Obviously we don't know if the agency has discussed the potential guardianship as opposed to adoption with placement. So again, I would echo Mr. Hotchkiss's request for the court to proceed as it indicated or for a 1-week adjournment. Thank you.
I have spoken with the placement. They prefer adoption. I don't think this comes as any surprise to anyone. The concerns are so deep-seated with the mental illness and the drug issues that I don't think getting started or at this late stage, I'll leave it to the court's discretion. Thank you.
All right. Well, based on everything I've heard and the tribe's recommendation against a goal change today, I'm not going to order a goal change today. We will have a review hearing in 4 weeks. Where does that put us, Shannon?
The 15th.
December 8th.
Can we do the 15th? I will not be here on the 8th.
Sure, 15th is fine.
Hang on, I want to see what we've got here. December 15th at 10:15.
December 15th at 10:15. So I'm ordering that the parents provide the agency with evidence of their participation in services and provide releases to allow the agency to speak with the service providers. And I will consider whether or not there will be a request for a goal change then. I don't even have a specific request for a goal change today in any event. I've got a conditional request. I think I've met that. Otherwise, I will implement the recommendations as contained in the report with this change. And we'll see you back on December 15th to decide whether or not there's going to be a goal change. Anything else today?
No, thank
No,
you.
Your Honor, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I did that right. I'm on the wrong pile.
Okay, next up. Camarian Jackson. And let's see, I need to bring Gabriel Ackland. I'm going to assume that's Gabe. Mr. Ackland, do you know if Camarian or placement is participating today?
Kamarian, I did call Boys to Men. Kamarian should be joining with them.
Oh, okay, I see that. I see that now. All right, there's Camarian. Okay, counsel, identify yourselves for the record.
That way, prosecutor's office.
Rebecca McCluskey, guardian ad litem.
And Shannon, we also have Gabriel Ackland and Camarian present. Camarian, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. All right. Ms. McCluskey.
I spoke with Kamarian yesterday, and he's doing well. I think he's ready. Well, he is ready to be out of the facility, but he's doing well. He admits his grades are taking a little bit of a hit right now, but he's got a plan to bring those up. And I think probably a lot of students are struggling with distance learning. But as always, he's in a very upbeat and positive. Have a lot of faith in Kamarian doing well in independent living. I think I've seen a lot of growth in him. He's definitely one of my favorites. But otherwise, he's doing well. He should be graduating from Boys to Men in January. So working through the program. I have reviewed the report. I have no objection to the recommendations. Thank you.
Camarian, that's a very honored position to be one of Ms. McCluskey's favorites. I hope you understand that.
He definitely is.
And Mr. Ackland, do you have anything to add to your report?
I do not. I did talk to Kamarian on Friday just to see how he was feeling about getting ready to leave. He is pushing more towards the ILP house independent living route in Kalamazoo. So I will be sending in that referral packet today.
And Camarian, is there anything you'd like to say this morning?
No, I think everything is going good, so that's it.
Good, I'm glad to hear that. I will implement the recommendations. We'll set our next review hearing for February 9th at 9 a.m. Thank you. Good luck to you, Camarian.
All right, thank you so much.
Have a good day.
Easy.
Thank you. Were you able to get all of him?
Yeah, he said he was logging back into your waiting room.
Oh, let me see if he's there.
Yeah.
I've had people waiting for a while. Yeah, he's still not there. I'll check after this next one.
He said he would be. He said he was logging in as we were talking on the phone.
Yeah, but it didn't happen. There's a lot of people in there, and I just scrolled through. I do not see him.
we gotta call the jail for Dad.
Oh, okay. Okay, we're going a little out of order. I'm going to call Christian Gibson next. Is he just over at Wesley?
Yeah.
Let me get everyone else in, and then I'll get Dad in. And I gave you my cheat sheet again.
Judge, stop.
Okay, let's see. Gibson, Jade Blair, let me get her in. There she is. So Dad's the one that's in jail?
Yes.
And let's see, mother's Courtney Whitney. Let me see if she's present. She is. I'll let her in. And now I'm going to get Dad in from the jail.
Morning, everyone.
Hi, good morning. This is Judge LaFlamme. Could you bring Shane Gibson to my Zoom room, please?
Yes, I can, sir.
Thank you.
Yep, bye.
Okay, while we're waiting for Mr. Gibson to show up, can I have each of you identify yourselves for the record, beginning with Mr. Way?
That way, prosecutor's office.
Jade Blair, DHHS worker.
Ivan Brown for Shane Gibson.
Rebecca McCleskey, guardian ad litem.
Does somebody represent Mom?
Mr. Kelly. But he's muted. There we go.
Morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. All right, let me see. It usually takes a few minutes before the jail logs in. There we go. Well, we're having trouble making our audio connection with the jail, and it doesn't look like Mr. Gibson's been brought to the room yet. So we'll have to wait for him to show up before we can move forward. It's my cell phone. Gotta turn that ringer down. Well, looks like we have Mr. Gibson, but we still don't have our audio connection. There we go. You are Shane Gibson?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're here in court in the matter of Christian Gibson. Can I, Ms. McCluskey, can you tell me how Christian is doing? I'm getting feedback. Oh, just a second. I'm getting feedback from somebody. I'm not sure who it is. It looks like it's coming from me. Not quite sure why, but it stopped. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ms. McCluskey.
Thank you, Your Honor. I apologize. For some reason, I had this review hearing on a different date. I just realized it was on today. I was not able to reach out to Mom, but I did get a chance to review the court report. And obviously, I'm a little concerned that Gibson's still in the house. I certainly wouldn't want to see an unnecessary removal, but it looks like Mom is testing positive for pretty high levels of amphetamines and methamphetamine. And I believe disposition was in August, and it looks like she did begin mental health services, but there's not been a lot of progress. And considering the child's still in the home, that's kind of a concern to me. But otherwise, as I said, I've reviewed the report. I'm in agreement with the recommendations. Thank you.
So, Ms. Blair, I had the same concerns that Ms. McCluskey just raised. If Mom is regularly testing positive for amphetamines, why aren't we looking at removal?
We've acknowledged that there is definitely still concerns of substance abuse in the home. We are trying to, we want to prevent removal if necessary. I mean, we know how traumatic removals can be for children. So although Mom's testing positive, she has really started to, we've made a plan on moving forward. We've started doing more. I talked with Mom yesterday. We made some more plans for her drug screening, how often she's going to do them, as well as setting up her substance abuse assessment. She had attempted to go to Born Free, and they were quite rude to her there. So we are we have found another place for her to go and get that done, and I'd like to see that completed first, so that she can continue moving forward, and so that we can actually get the substance abuse addressed. But it is something that we've acknowledged and we have talked about consistently with Mom.
Are there any other updates or changes to your recommendations?
There is no other changes. I do just want to say that I want to make it known for the record, there is still a PPO between Mr. Gibson and Miss Whitney. So when supervised visits begin happening, we will be asking for those to be specifically at DHS so that we can avoid any, so we can avoid Shane and Courtney meeting with each other at any time during those to follow the orders of that PPO.
Okay. Mr. Brown, do you have a position on the recommendations?
Well, it looks like my client is getting out on Thursday. I would ask if your phone number has changed, Mr. Gibson, please call my office and give an updated phone number so I can stay in contact with you if it has changed. Further, we would ask that rather than being at the DHHS building, if it can be explored that there's another suitable person like a grandparent that can supervise parenting time rather than being at a sterile DHHS, we would ask that that be investigated rather than just having it at the DHHS building. But hopefully Mr. Gibson he's going to be on probation doing services. So hopefully those can be coordinated with DHHS and the probation officer so he doesn't have to do services twice. Further, we all got an email from the state court administrator's office about AdverHealth. That concerns me. It really concerns me that someone else went a long ways in this process, even up to trial. That needs to be addressed and recognized. Why are we still using AdverHealth? Thank you.
And that's a good question, Ms. Blair, for your superiors. I don't expect you to have an answer for that, but it's very concerning to all of us. It's imperative that we have accurate drug testing results. And if this company isn't doing it, we need to find someone who does. It really puts at peril my ability to make decisions when I don't have reliable test results. So let me ask you, Ms. Blair, when Ms. Whitney has tested positive, has she denied drug use?
No, she's never denied, and she's always been willing to drug screen for me at any time. She admits to use. So.
All right. And let's see, Mr. Kelly.
Your Honor, I have no objection to the recommendations. I was going to raise the same concerns that Mr. Brown did as it relates to AdverHealth. It says a lot when SCAO actually comes down and feels the need to send out a mass email regarding their concerns and what has happened with other families in the case. And so if we can get that straightened out and mom can get her substance abuse assessment going, I think we'll be fine. Thank you.
All right, I will implement the recommendations. My requirements for the father's parenting time do give discretion for supervision by a designee, and if that is possible, and there's a suitable designee to do it, that would limit contact between the parents. I'd like to see that exercised. But I will implement these recommendations, and we'll set our next review hearing for February 2nd at 9:45. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. It was, I'm gonna let Mr. Gibson go. Have a good day, sir. Wait, he's got a question. Hold on.
Muted.
Yeah, I had to mute it because that feedback was coming from the jail.
That's fine. Why do I have to have supervised visitation?
Ms. Blair, respond.
The prior custody agreement had already ordered supervised visitation. That's how their custody was set up originally anyway, through front of the court in Jackson. At this point, Shane, I know he's been incarcerated, so that is no fault of his own, but since the beginning of this case, when I first received it, he's not really made much progress in doing services or anything like that. Obviously, he's been incarcerated, so once he's no longer incarcerated and he can start doing those services, we can look into, doing unsupervised, but at this point, that's still what their custody agreement had stated as well.
All right, so I will give discretion for dad to have unsupervised visits. If once he gets out, you don't see any issues that would pose a danger to the child, I'll give you discretion to do that.
Okay, I appreciate that. Now, on the paperwork I was going through, and it said that I was not, sorry, I don't have them right in front of me, but it says that I was not doing what I was supposed to with Blair and all that. Now that is incorrect because it was actually Courtney that was not getting in touch with Mrs. Blair. And you remember that because that was when we had Chris at the time. And Chris kept coming to my grandfather's house, and that's when you guys first seen Christian and first seen Courtney. Her and I both was there. If you remember, Miss Blair, and I have always.
That was not the first time that I met with them.
All right, I don't want to get into a custody-related dispute today.
No. It has to do with the meeting with the Miss Blair and all that. Because at the time we had what was his name? Chris, I believe. He was our worker. Well, Courtney wouldn't meet up with Chris at all or answer the door or anything. And they said that that they was talking about removing Christian if they didn't see Christian or Courtney, and I had them both at my grandpa's house in order for that to happen. So I've always done what I was supposed to do in order for, or what's ever been told for us to do.
Right.
The CPS.
All right, well, I don't understand what you're asking me. So.
I don't get why I have to have supervised visitation, but
custody order.
So I get that you don't believe it's necessary, but there's a custody order in place that orders supervised visits. I am giving discretion to allow unsupervised if the agency independently determines that you are not a risk to your child.
Okay. Yeah, I would never hurt my child. He's my world.
All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Very good. Thank you all. Have a good day, sir.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to call that probate matter now. I saw Mr. Phillips and Talon and Ms. Muir. I think those are the parties. So, Mr. Phillips.
Good morning, Judge.
I don't know how you managed to get on my neglect docket day, but since you're here and since Talon is here and Karen Muir is present, I'm
here, Your Honor.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so this is a petition to have the county pay an invoice.
Mm-hmm. May I be heard?
Yes, go ahead.
I believe that we are here on Miss Muir's petition to extend the guardianship. We were here, I think, a year ago, and the court established a guardianship for 1 year, and it was set to expire. We had a hearing a number of weeks ago. I don't remember exactly when, but it was adjourned until today so that Miss Daughtery could obtain an independent evaluation as to her current needs. And I did obtain that evaluation, and it is one that Miss Daughtery that is frankly opposed to Miss Daughtery's position. She wants to terminate the guardianship. Miss Muir thinks that she'll continue to need guardianship services, and so we're left without a report supporting Miss Daughtery's petition. I'd be happy to share that with the court with Miss Daughtery's permission. I don't have that yet. I don't know that it would be helpful to the court in guiding the court on what to do with the petition.
All right, well, now I am remembering, thank you, Talon, that you don't think you need a guardian anymore. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
But the person you identified to provide evidence that you no longer need a guardian doesn't support your request. And I don't have that report in front of me, but I'm sure that Mr. Phillips has accurately described the recommendation. Do you have a copy of that report, Talon?
No.
Mr. Phillips, is that something you can share with Talon?
Absolutely.
Why don't
How
we
would you
do
like me
that?
to-
I think you can mail it to her, can't you?
Absolutely. I can probably make it faster than that because I know the Talon's in town and so am I. If Miss Talon doesn't have an email address, or I can get it to Miss Muir, which will probably get it to her within a day or two. I know that Miss Muir is often in town. If it's helpful to Miss Dottery and it's okay with her, I'll read the recommendation.
Would you like him to read it, Talon?
Yes.
Go ahead, Mr. Phillips.
Miss Dottery was referred for a psychological evaluation to determine her current level of functioning and assess her potential need for ongoing guardianship. Miss Dottery's cognitive ability falls in the very low range, as would be expected, given her scores on the testing. And that's me editorializing. I'm returning to the report. Despite having some independence through partial guardianship, Miss Dottery has not made significant improvement in her adaptive skills, and her scores are about the same as they were in 2019. She continues to rely heavily on Karen Muir and her case manager, Donna Howard, to help with finances, medical appointments, employment, and education. Another year of guardianship would afford Miss Dottery the opportunity to learn the skills necessary to be completely independent and demonstrate her ability to care for herself and take initiative to find employment and obtain her GED. And the report is signed by Elizabeth J. Smith, MA, who I believe is, she signed this as a temporary limited psychologist. I know she recently passed the test to be a licensed psychologist, and it's also signed by Dr. Brent R. Smith, a fully licensed psychologist.
Talon, did you have any questions?
No.
All right, well, in light of this evaluation, I really don't have any choice but to continue the guardianship. And Ms. Muir, I'm assuming you're willing to continue? Ms. Muir?
I'm sorry. Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I will make sure that an order is entered continuing the guardianship until further order of the court.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Phillips,
Judge,
anything else?
Yes, Your Honor. I apologize for interrupting you. Would you be willing to include in your order that the County of Jackson should pay the attorney fees?
Yes.
Thank you, Judge. Do you need me to prepare an order, or do you have one in front of you?
I'm sure they can do it downstairs.
Very good.
Thank you. That concludes our hearing. Talon, have a good day.
Thank you, Judge.
You too.
You're welcome. That's good. I need to go down to probate with some instructions. Okay. Okay, next up, the Austin Jackson Miners. All right, and let's see, I've got a couple other phones that have signed in. Let me ask. I've got one that says D's iPhone. Would that be someone on this file?
That's on Lafitte.
Oh, okay, let me, well, I'll
Ms.
let you-
Ms. Pinson, do you know if the mother's participating?
I talked to her yesterday. She intended on it. She just might not be on anymore.
What is her name?
Cassidy Bittner.
She's not been logged in that I've noticed under that name, but I've got a couple other devices that aren't identified. Let me find out who they are.
Okay.
Does anybody recognize who that is?
No.
All right, I'll find out as soon as we have an audio connection. Shannon, can you remind me to change my Zoom instructions so they include something that says when you log in, you gotta insert your name in the device so that I know who you are? This keeps happening, and it's easy for people with phones and other devices to change the name. It would save a lot of time, particularly in cases like this one where it's taking forever to make an audio connection. I don't mind waiting when it's somebody for this file, but it's just when it's just to find out who it is, it's a little annoying. Well, while I'm waiting for that one, I'm going to bring an iPad in. Okay, I just let an iPad in. What is your name, ma'am?
Carissa Cahey.
All right, I name your device so I know who you are. And when I call you, when I'm ready for your case, I'll bring you back into the courtroom, okay?
Okay, thank you.
How do you spell your last name?
Keahey.
And your first name is Marissa?
Carissa, Karissa.
Carissa, okay. All right, we'll call you shortly.
Thank you.
And okay, and ma'am, with the Aristo device, could you give us your name, please? Your microphone is muted. You need to unmute it. So I'm sorry, state your name.
Okay, am I doing it right now?
Yep.
All right, Zena Sasser.
Zena Sasser. Sasser?
Correct.
Okay, I'm going to put you back in the waiting room till we call your case, but at least I know who you are now.
Thank you.
All right, and I'm double checking to see who's logged in, to see if I have, and I forgot the mom I'm looking for. Miss Benson, what's her name?
Cassidy Bittner.
And I do not see her. Do you happen to have her phone number?
Yes.
Go ahead.
It is 517-879-6412.
All right, let's see if I can get her on.
Hello?
Is this Cassidy Bittner?
Yes, this is.
Hi, this is Judge LaFlamme. We were just calling so you could participate in the court hearing this morning for...
Yes, I'm sorry. I will log on right now.
You can just stay on the phone. That works.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got Mom here. We've got Ms. Pinson. Can everyone else identify themselves for the record?
That way, prosecutor's office.
Mike Kelly, guardian ad litem.
And Hotchkiss on behalf of Corey Austin, father, who I believe is in jail.
We didn't have any information on that, but recommendation is today that because Mr. Austin's going to be in jail for at least 180 days, that we simply enter a custody order and close out this file.
I did discuss this briefly with Mr. Way, and because of that, I would waive his appearance today.
Thank you. Mr. Kelly, you're in support of this approach?
Yes, Your Honor. I spoke with Mom about it, and essentially what responsibilities that shifts to her once he is released. She understands it and is supportive of a custody order. I believe that we do have, they do have an open support file before Judge Jordan, file number 152179DS. So that order could be entered. I don't know if the court wants to do it or simply contact Judge Jordan to do the same, but I'd have no objection to a custody.
Often what I will do is prepare an order and then present it to Judge Jordan, and if she is in support of it, have her sign it. I'm not sure whether Messiah is included in that support order currently. Ma'am, can you tell me?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Is Messiah on your current support order?
Yes, he is.
Okay. All right. And you're in support of a custody order entering so that the court can dismiss this matter?
Yes.
Ms. Pinson, what kind of parenting time would an acceptable custody order provide for?
Suspended right now, and supervised if he does get out, when he does get out, at the court's discretion, really.
I mean, often I'll do a custody order that says, in this case, it could be suspended while incarcerated, thereafter supervised by such persons and at such times as the parties may agree. Ms. Bittner, is there a suitable person that you would trust to supervise parenting time?
Would it have to be from his family or could it be from mine?
It's up to you.
Maybe my mother.
All right, well, I'll just provide that. If the two of you can't agree on a supervisor,
okay.
He will always be able to petition the court for specific parenting time, but that would simply be left to a future date, and that's something that the friend of the court would initially review, and then Judge Jordan would ultimately decide.
Okay.
All right, we will see that an appropriate custody order gets entered, and upon entry, we will dismiss this file. In the meantime, I will set a review hearing just in case something goes south. That is February 9th at 9 a.m.
Alrighty.
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you.
And could you give this one to Peter when we're done? Thank you, ma'am. Have a good day. Okay, next up, Rudloff. So Ms. Blair's already here. And let's see, let me look for some parents. I have Brandon Rudloff.
Ms. Cahey is the mother.
Oh, okay. Thank you. See him back in. Okay, we're ready to proceed on the matter of Kaylin and Bryson Rudloff. Ms. Cahey is present. Mr. Rudloff is present. Jade Blair on behalf of the agency. Mr. Way on behalf of the petitioner. And let's see. Mr. Kelly represents Dad. Ms. McCluskey represents Mom. And Mr. Hotchkiss is the LGAL. Mr. Hotchkiss, how are Kaylin and Bryson doing?
Your Honor, as you know, the court or the children are placed with their father, Mr. Rudloff. I did speak with Mr. Rudloff. He indicates that they're doing very well in his care. He doesn't have any concerns to bring before the court. I have reviewed the recommendations. I'm in accord with the recommendations, except for I'll just reiterate what was addressed earlier regarding AverHealth drug testing facility. I, like everyone else, have concerns about that. So, but I am in support of the recommendations. Thank you.
Ms. Blair, do you have any updates for the court?
Not at this time, no.
Mr. Kelly, what's your position on the recommendations?
Your Honor, my client's doing very well. He has placement. I don't have any objection to the recommendations. I'm wondering if this is one of those cases that we need to keep a close eye on, such that we consider a custody order down the road if things keep progressing the way they are. Thank you.
And Ms. McCluskey.
Thank you, Your Honor. I was able to review the court report with my client, and she's adamant that she was not using. And of course, in light of the information from Scale regarding AverHealth, we would object to further testing with AverHealth. Further, she's participating in sobriety court in Lenawee County, so she's testing through her probation officer, random tests, and those, while those actually started not too long ago, those have reportedly been clean. So that's also a concern that she's testing positive despite stating that she was not using through EverHealth. So we would ask that she only need to test through her probation officer. Obviously, we don't want to double up these services and make this more difficult on our parents. And we would just note for the record that through sobriety court or through the criminal proceeding, my client was offered 25 days in jail, and she did willingly decide to participate in sobriety court instead. 25 days in jail is not insignificant, but she could have been in jail for 25 days and out and been done. But she's committed to her sobriety, so she did choose to willingly participate in sobriety court instead of the relatively short stay in jail. Other than that, we don't have any objection to the remaining recommendations, with the exception of the AverHealth testing. Thank you.
So, Ms. Cahey, let me ask you, how often do you test through the sobriety court down in Lenawee?
It is at least once a week. However, it could be more. I have to call every day at 6 a.m. I'm on colors.
All right. And Ms. Blair, are you able to get those reports?
Yeah, so we had a family team meeting last week, I believe, and it was discussed with her probation officer how I could go about receiving those reports from her as well to avoid making Ms. Cahey do multiple testing everywhere. So,
all right. I'm going to delete the requirement for random drug screens through AverHealth since I have no confidence in their accuracy. And mom can simply continue to participate through her probation in Lenawee County. And I think that's appropriate. If she continues to do well there, I think it would be premature to be thinking about anything other than allowing her the opportunity to complete services. With that change, I will implement the recommendations. We'll set our next review hearing for February 9th at 9 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, Brooklyn and Aaron Reyes. Okay, looks like Ms. Reyes is present.
Yes.
And Ms. Legore is present.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Kelly's the LGAL. Ms. McCluskey represents mom. And obviously Mr. Way represents the petitioner. So Mr. Kelly, how are Brooklyn and Aaron doing?
Your Honor, no concerns there. Placement indicates they're doing well. They indicate that placement for their siblings is willing to adopt at this point. I reviewed the report. We're just spinning our wheels here, Your Honor. We're having issues with screens, housing, and employment. It's the same thing. It's like a broken record. These kids need permanency. I'm in support of a goal change at this point. Thank you.
And Ms. Legore, you are still seeking a goal change today?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
So, Ms. McCluskey?
Thank you, Your Honor. Obviously, we would object to a goal change that's going to result in the children obviously being moved from a placement they've been at for quite some time. Until this reporting period, I'm sure the court remembers, really was only housing that was a struggle for my client. She was willingly participating in all other services and she was completing her services. I do note that in the court report, she, upon Ms. Legore asking, I believe she said she would willingly participate in updated psychological evaluation. I guess we would just ask for an additional reporting period to allow her to do so because there's definitely something going on. I don't think the agency's uncovered. Other than that,
may I speak real briefly?
Go ahead, Ms. Reyes.
I did actually already have the interview with Dr. Louder this past Wednesday. We did an over-the-phone interview that was for about an hour. And I do have another appointment with, I believe, Jennifer or Dr. Louder, I'm not sure, on Friday to complete the other part of the questionnaire to have the full psychological evaluation done.
But the challenge here is we've got children who've been in care for over 2 years. And yes, up until now, what's been presented to me at each review hearing, I think probably the last 3, is the only holdup is housing. And now I find out we have a whole lot more concerns than just housing. And frankly, it's just been too long. I am going to order a goal change. I will certainly consider whatever results of a psychological eval at the time of whether or not I actually order termination. There may be something in it that convinces me that termination isn't the right path, but this has been going on for far too long. I'm simply not willing to wait anymore. I am going to order a goal change. We will set the hearing for receipt of a termination petition on November 24th at 9:45. In the event I do not terminate, we will set another review hearing for February 2nd at 9:45. Thank you.
It's just been rough with the coronavirus, but Amanda Charvet's name is misspelled as well.
So if there's a name misspelled in the report, Ms. Legore, if you could correct that, please.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. That completes our hearing.
Thank you.
Sophia Johnson. Okay. Mom's present. Ms. Fidawa is present. Mr. Way for the petitioner. Mr. Kelly represents the father, and Mr. Hotchkiss represents mom. Mr. Brown's the LGAL. And I'm sorry, what's the father's name?
Paul Wallenwine.
Not for this child. This is for Sophia. Sorry.
Oh, I'm Brian Shirt.
All right. Has he been participating?
No.
I don't. All right, and I don't see him in the waiting room. Okay, so let me hear first from Mr. Brown. How's Sophia doing?
Appears to be doing very well with the transition back to mom's home. FRP is in place. It looks like mom is doing very well, and I'm very pleased with that. There are no concerns at this time. I would inquire in the report. It's asking for a special advocate to be appointed. I don't see any issues with what I'm recommending or my position that are contrary to what Sophia's are. And based upon my mindset and the situation with Sophia, I think I'm the perfect person to advocate for her with regard to the situation. Thank you.
Ms. Fidewa?
Yes, I'm sorry. That is a recommendation from the last reporting period when things were a little more tense with Sophia. That is not a current recommendation. I apologize that was not removed.
Any other changes or updates to your report, Ms. Fidewa?
No.
Any objection to the recommendations?
On behalf of Mom, I have no objection to the recommendations. I can tell you she's excited to have Sophia back in the home. Indicates the two are bonding very well, and she looks forward to the complete reunification and case closure. Thank you.
All right, there being no objection, I will implement the recommendations. We will set what I hope will be the last review hearing, February 9th at 9:15. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day, everyone. Doris Lafitte. Okay, and I think I might have a foster parent here on this file. I remember changing the name on the files, but she must have logged out and logged back in. I'm just going to let her in. And let's see if I've got anybody else that we're missing here. Is there anyone else we're expecting to participate? I believe Dee's iPhone is Doris. Is that correct?
No, it's
I think it's
Diamond.
the mother.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right, so the mother's present. Ms. Hulkill on behalf of the agency. Foster parent, I believe you're on this file.
I am.
Okay, what is your name? I'm sorry.
Morgan Englehart.
Okay, and let's see, we've got Ms. McCluskey's LGAL, Mr. Way for the petitioner, Mr. Kelly for mom, and Mr. Brown for dad. The hearing today was set for receipt of a termination petition, which the court is in receipt of. Did everyone else get a copy?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, we're going to set a termination hearing for December 15 at 1:15. Is there anything else the court needs to address today?
Your Honor, do we need to be in person for that?
No, you can participate by Zoom.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, we'll see you all back here on December 15th. Thank you.
Thank you.
And next up is the matter of Montrell Johnson. So let's see. Joy Jennings. I do not see her. Let me look at the report and see if there's another name here. Ms. Daly's the supervisor. I don't see her either. That makes it challenging. Does anyone know if Montrell is present in some capacity? I mean, what it's, oh, there's Joy Jennings. Sorry, I'll get her in. She can answer this question for me. Looks like here we go. Ms. Jennings, can you hear us?
Hello.
Good morning. I just called Montrell Johnson's case. Are we expecting Montrell to participate this morning, and what name would it be under?
I believe he's at Eagle Village, if there's anyone signed in from there.
I don't have anything that says Eagle Village, but there could be a therapist or somebody at the facility. I just don't have any names. Let me look through the report and see if one shows up.
I don't see Eagle Village. I think he was moved from Eagle Village.
I don't have any facility logged in. I'm just looking for a name. I've got a Tori Smith as the case manager, but I don't see a Tori Smith logged in. I've got a supervisor, Joseph Partaka, but I don't see him. Okay, well, we've got Mr. Brown as LGAL, Mr. Way for the petitioner. Mr. Brown, how's Montrell doing?
It seems to be pretty good, much better than the last report. I would ask Ms. Jennings if you could email me a specific number and person. I spent an inordinate time trying to navigate the Wolverine system to speak with Montrell to no avail. I called the main number, and it seems like no one knew what was going on or couldn't assist me one bit. So if you possibly could provide me with a direct number from someone and let that person know who I am, because he was just recently moved to Wolverine, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
I can definitely do that.
So before I move on to the next case, I do see someone logged in the waiting room. First initial C, last name F-E-I-E. I don't see this person on Mr. Way's cheat sheet. Does anybody recognize that name?
I think that might be an adoption worker, Your Honor. The name's familiar. It's a private agency worker, I think.
All right, I won't worry about that for this hearing, but Ms. Jennings, any changes to your recommendations or updates to your report?
Recommendations remain the same. Mariah was not able to join because it was going over the time and she had an activity she needed to participate in. But she's been doing a lot better since she moved to Wolverine's mental health and behavior stabilization program. She says this is where she wants to be, and she is going to be joining the cross country team, and they're scouting her for a local college. I did have the case manager, Tori, ask Mariah if she wanted to say anything in court. Mariah just wanted to know if terminating parental rights is an option and if changing her goal to APLA is an option, is what she had asked. Right now, we're still pretty early on in the case, is my understanding, so reunification is still the goal. I'd like to know thoughts maybe from JL or from you, Your Honor, about that in the future.
I can tell you that termination, at least currently, is not under consideration because neither parent is identified as a respondent. So that's pretty easy. APLA, based on everything I know about this case, is probably a long-term, a more realistic goal than reunification. Parents really aren't involved. So that probably is a realistic goal. And I forget, how old is Montrell?
16.
16. Well, certainly, and looks like a birthday coming up in January. 17 years old, APLA probably is a more realistic goal. You can certainly pass that on. And I would be receptive to such a goal change at the time that request is made.
Thank you. I appreciate the clarification so I can make sure to let her know.
Okay, thank you. Our next review hearing will be shortly after Montrell's birthday, February 9th at 9:45. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And I think that brings us to the post terms. First one up is Jaden Coffey. Oh, there we go. Callie Fire and Danette Threlkeld Cohn. I'll let both of them in. Okay, this is a matter of Jaden Coffey. Who is LGAL on this file?
Ivan.
Okay, and we've got Ms. Fire, the adoption worker, Ms. Threlkeld Cohen, the foster care worker, I believe. Did I get your roles correct?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Brown, how's Jaden doing?
Same since the place with this family. He continues to thrive, continues to do very well. It looks like we're very close to having this adoption finalized. I spoke with Miss Delmonico, the placement, pre-adoptive placement, and she just wishes it be known that the quickest way to get this done, whether it's just a signature from you, she doesn't need a full-blown hearing. So the quickest way that we can get this finalized, she would like to take advantage of that.
Tara Lynn usually informs adoptive parents of whatever it is they'd like to do. We can get a Zoom hearing scheduled very quickly if we want one. We can do a paper confirmation. if they would prefer that. Typically, the paper confirmation would be quicker, but they can take that up with Tara Lynn.
Okay. And I'm sure the work.
Do either of the workers have anything to add?
The only thing I have to add is consent was received on 11/6, so we are very close.
Very good. I will implement the recommendations. We'll look forward to finalization, but if there is a delay, we'll set one more review hearing just in case. That'll be February 9th at 8:45. Thank you.
Thank you.
Matthew Doro. I don't have a worker listed. Let me see if I can find a name on the report. Jessica Urch. I see her. Is the adoption worker, and Joy Jennings.
And Miss Carol, my affidavits got out late. They will be there in the mail tomorrow.
Okay, thanks, Ivan.
Sorry.
And Mr. Brown, are you Matthew's LGAL?
I am.
Your Honor, I am. Ken.
Mr. Hotchkiss. How's Matthew doing?
Matthew's doing very well. He's been in this placement for approximately 8 months. There are no issues to report. His health is good. He's doing well in school. I have had an opportunity to review the report, and I'm in support of the goal of adoption.
Ms. Jennings or Ms. Urch, do either of you have any updates to your reports?
I do not, Your Honor.
I do not, Your Honor.
January finalization still appear feasible?
I believe it is. I would say even maybe early February.
Okay. Well, I will implement the recommendations. We will set a review hearing for February 9th at 8:45 if necessary. Thank you.
Thank you.
And next up, Anthony Schultz. Let's see, we've got Jackie Johnson and Leanna Scott, and we'll get both of them in here. Who's our LGAL?
Ken Hotchkiss, LGAL.
Okay, and as soon as Ms. Scott makes her connection, which she has, Mr. Hotchkiss, how's Anthony doing?
Your Honor, as you know, Anthony's placed with the maternal aunt and uncle. I've reached out a couple of occasions and left my office number, my cell phone number. Haven't received a call back, but I am heartened when I read the report that Anthony seems to be doing better right now. He's had kind of a rough road, and it looks like things are progressing in this placement. So I'm certainly in support of the goal of adoption, and believe progress is being made towards that goal. Thank you.
Indeed. Ms. Johnson or Ms. Scott, do either of you have updates?
He's doing very well.
That's good to hear.
I don't have any
And
updates right now, Judge. I look forward to working with the family towards the goal of adoption and completing adoption steps once he is adjusted to being in the home.
Great. I'm glad to hear he's doing well. Indeed, court recalls significant challenges with Anthony. Bless you. Bless you. We'll set our next review hearing for February 9th at 9:15. Thank you.
you, Debbie.
Is this the last one of the questions?
No.
Why don't you hand me the rest of them? It'll save time.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, next up is Elena Wilson. And let's see, I need to bring in Ms. Nutter and Ms. Getting. And as soon as, okay, Ms. Getting and Ms. Nutter are both present. Who's our LGAL on this file?
I am, Your Honor, Attorney Mike Kelly.
Mr. Kelly, how's Elena doing?
Your Honor, I called placement and went to leave a voicemail and it said the mailbox was full. So I was unable to contact them this report period. I've reviewed the report. I have no objection to the recommendation.
Ms. Getting or Ms. Nutter, do either of you have any updates for the court?
I'll just update that Elena, on the occasions that I've met with her, she's doing really well. And she's used to living with grandma. Things are just business as usual at home. The only thing, as noted in my report, that is holding up this adoption is once again fingerprints. The placement has been great about getting me all the documentation I need. So I anticipate as soon as I get those fingerprints, I'll be able to request consent and submit subsidy.
Very good. We'll set our next review hearing then for February 9th at 9:30. Thank you. And next up, it looks like the last of our post terms is Caitlin Blair. And let's see who I need to bring in. Veronica McDonald, I don't see her. Raven Braswell, I do see. And okay, so we've got a connection with Ms. Braswell. Who's our LGAL?
Attorney Mike Kelly, Your Honor.
Mr. Kelly, how is Caitlin doing?
I spoke with placement. They were having coverages with issues with coverage in terms of the insurance is concerned. It's because as she has not been adopted, she is not under their placements healthcare coverage, which would remedy a lot of the issues they've had this past report period with her hospitalizations and issues directly related to that. It sounds like she is now under the umbrella of Washtenaw County Community Mental Health, and they have the treatment options set up for her. She got a tonsillectomy and has an appointment at Kellogg Eye Center to address her color blindness. All things considered, she's doing okay. I reviewed the report. I have no objection to the recommendations. Thank you.
And Ms. Braswell, do you have any updates for the court?
No, other than that, I sent up the Dijon's fingerprints, and they are still not back. I did that about a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago. Their DCWL is very backed up right now, and I need those to progress with the adoption.
Okay, I mean, at some point, do you decide they got lost in the mail and you resubmit, or how does that work?
No, right now we're doing them through email, and if they probably towards the end of this month, I will reach out and see if they have, not if they've gotten them, but how, what they're where they are in the process, I guess. But last my supervisor spoke to them, they were working on processing things that they got at the beginning, at the end of September. Sorry.
Okay, well, hopefully we'll be able to loosen that log jam so we can make progress towards adoption. I will set our next review hearing for February 9th at 9:30. Thank you. Can I do that Sasser file first? I got Mom here and nobody else present, so.
These are all ed neglects.
Right.
Yeah, I'll just give these all to you.
Oh, okay.
And the she said she couldn't appear today.
Oh, that's fine. I'll get her on the phone.
Thank you.
Okay, and now we're ready for the ed neglect files. I see we've got Mom present in the matter of the Sasser and Lee minors. Let me get her in. Okay, Ms. Sasser, I've just called your case, Brooklyn and Preston.
Right.
Mr. Way's here for the petitioner. Who's LGAL on this one?
Ms. McCluskey is, I believe.
Okay.
I apologize, Your Honor, I'm here.
No problem. I need to get J.L. Richardson, the truancy officer, on the phone. So give me just a moment. Good morning. This is Judge LaFlamme. Is this JL?
Yes, it is.
Okay. We are on the matter of the Sasser and Sasser Lee minors. Mom is present.
Great.
And Ms. McCluskey is the guardian ad litem appointed to represent the best interests of the children. The court is in receipt of a report from Ms. Richardson. Her recommendations are to make sure that Brooklyn gets her medication as prescribed and refills Preston's medication, to provide doctor's notes to the school if they miss school due to illness, to ensure that both children attend school in person every Wednesday and every Friday, and make sure they submit their daily assignments and contact the school, Mom to contact the school if they're unable to do so because of behavioral issues. So, Ms. Sasser, these are items that Ms. Richardson went over with you?
Yeah, her and I talked about those.
Okay, and her recommendation is that the court keep the file open for 6 weeks to monitor compliance. So if there is compliance, attendance issues are resolved, 6 weeks from now, the court would anticipate that the case would be dismissed. If there hasn't been compliance, we might have to take more aggressive steps, but hopefully with the assistance from Ms. Richardson, you'll be able to make sure that Brooklyn and Preston are in school when they're healthy. Did you have any questions for the court, ma'am?
No, we just had trouble like our first couple weeks of with like codes or sign on logins and stuff like that. So that's why they're so behind. And then they do have ADD, ADHD meds, which even the school told me if Brooklyn didn't have her meds, that basically not to send her when she was in school full time, because they are a whole, so when they're not on their meds here, it's harder for me because I have 3 special needs children, but I have 4 kids altogether doing this online stuff. So it did get frustrating when they didn't have their meds because they couldn't sit down and they couldn't focus. So that's another reason why they missed.
What was the issue with their meds?
My daughter's she was going to Lifeway to see a psychiatrist, and they dropped her and didn't even tell me. And she was the one that's prescribing her meds. My son, he had his meds, but they stuck a toothbrush down my bathroom sink, and I had the meds sitting on the side of the sink, and called my son in there to take his meds while I was digging out the toothbrush. And he came in, and my bathroom's tiny, and he elbowed it. So they went into the water that the sink was plugged. So, and they wouldn't give me a refill on them because it's a narcotic.
All right. Well, hopefully you're on top of these issues. I hope things go well for you and your children. I will set a review hearing on December 22nd at 9:30. As I indicated, if all is going well, then I would anticipate simply dismissing the petition.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good day, ma'am.
You too.
Okay, and our last educational neglect case and our last hearing of the day is for Kenneth L. Lewis. Ms. McCluskey, are you LGAL on this one?
I am, Ivan.
Oh, okay. Let me fix that so I know in the future. And let's see, we also have Ms. Richardson still on the line. I do not have a parent in the waiting room. Mr. Way for the petitioner. I have a report from Ms. Richardson with the following recommendations. Mr. Lewis, to follow up with the school to switch Kenneth to the hybrid program when schools reopen, to get Kenneth enrolled in speech therapy and reading support services, to make sure that he attends in person on his 2 scheduled days per week, to obtain printed homework assignments if he's unable to access the JPS Wi-Fi, to have Kenneth complete all of his assignments and contact the school if he's unable to do so, and provide doctor's notes if Kenneth misses school due to illness. Assuming all these requirements are satisfied, we'll keep the case open for 6 weeks to monitor. Assuming he meets these requirements and the attendance issues are resolved, I would anticipate dismissal at that time. Anything further, Ms. Richardson?
Nope, his father is available by phone. He just has Wi-Fi issues, so he wasn't able to call in through the Zoom.
Oh, okay. Let me, what's his phone number? I should have asked you that at the start.
That's okay. 517 366 9138.
All right, I will try to conference him in. If I lose you, I'll call you back.
Okay.
Well, it doesn't sound
You
like...
have reached the voicemail box of 517-366-9138. At the tone, please record your voice message. When you are finished recording, you may hang up or press pound for more options.
This is Judge LaFlamme calling for Mr. Kenneth L. Lewis regarding the educational neglect case for I'm sorry. Okay, both names, both father and son are Kenneth. For Kenneth, this doesn't look right. what's the date of birth of this child? It says 2001.
That's not it.
I believe that's a typo. It's 2011 further down on the paperwork.
Okay.
Yeah, Your Honor, I think I emailed Shannon about this.
Yeah.
There's a date of birth wrong on the order, but the petition was actually correct. So it just got inputted wrong at some point.
All right, we'll make sure we get that. I don't know if we're, there's no need for me to repeat the recommendations. They seem appropriate. I will order them. We will have a review hearing on, December 22nd at 9:30 to monitor progress. And with that, I think we're done for the day. Thank you all. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.